Great. Okay. Hi, everybody, and thank you for coming. Welcome to my talk, Optimizing Intercompany Order Management. My name is Cecily Barreto. I'm the Director of Implementation North America for Sodexis. Just a little bit about Sodexis. Sodexis has been an Odoo partner since 2012. We're headquartered in the US with a presence in Switzerland and France. Our team consists of over 40 business analysts, developers, bookkeepers, and system admins that allow us to help our clients at any level that they need. We have a portfolio of over 70 successful Odoo implementations, and our goal is always to help our clients get the most out of Odoo, whether they're implementing Odoo for the first time or interested in making it work better for them. If you have any questions that come up during my talk, feel free to scan this QR code and enter them in there, and we'll address them at the end. Okay. So, as some of you may know, Odoo allows you to configure your multi-company environment to trigger the automatic creation of certain documents in one company when certain documents in another company are confirmed. So for example, if you create a sales order with another company as the customer, when you confirm that sales order, it'll automatically create a PO in that company with all the same information. If you're using the tools, it can be a little cumbersome to get the full picture of an intercompany order using just the standard configuration. So we created an app to help easily keep track of the connection between these operations from the order level all the way down to the journal items. Our app creates a new document that we refer to as an intercompany transaction or an ICT that has its own sequence. So when an order confirmation triggers a document to be created in another company, a new ICT is created and it links every subsequent document back to the same ICT. The ICT number is also propagated to every journal item on the accounting documents, allowing you to easily ensure each transaction is balanced across companies or easily traced back when it's not. So let's jump into a demo. Before we take a look, I just want to go over some configuration. So under the companies menu, if you open up one of your companies, you want to make sure that debug mode is turned on. And with debug mode turned on, you'll be able to see Odoo's configuration to set up rules to sync your companies together. So in this case, I already set everything up, but basically we're synchronizing sales and purchase orders for both of our companies. So anytime these companies are set as a customer or a vendor in another company, the purchase order or sales order will be created automatically. I also configure these to validate automatically, so when the other document gets created, you don't have to worry about confirming it, it's going to auto-confirm. Let's see it in action. So I'm going to create, from my San Francisco company, a purchase order to my Chicago company. And I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. At the confirmation of the purchase order, you'll notice there's a new Smart button in the top right corner. And this is going to take you to your intercompany transaction. It's given its own number, and you can already see here that a couple documents got automatically created. This is the purchase order that we just created and the corresponding receipt. This is the sales order that it created in our other company, in our Chicago company. With base Odoo, it's already taking over the quantity and the pricing correctly, automatically confirming the order based on the configuration that we set up. What we're doing is just tying it back to this nice Smart button. Let's go ahead and fulfill the delivery order. And we'll also create the invoice and post it. So if we go back here, you'll see that invoice that we just created and posted is added here as well. And from our purchase order, we can validate the receipt of the product and create the bill. Great. So again, back to our intercompany transaction. Everything here is listed, so if you ever wanted to use this as a reference, you could easily search it up and see everything that ties back to it. Let's pop over to our accounting module and look at our journal items. I'm going to filter down our journal items to only look at our intercompany accounts receivable and accounts payable. For me, all I have to do is search on the account field, but for you, that's going to look a little different. From here, I can actually group by my intercompany transaction number and see all the entries that are related to that intercompany transaction number. I have both of my companies selected here, so this is the one we were just working on, and we can see that our accounts receivable and our accounts payable equal each other, so we know that everything is good here. Up here, I see that this is not balanced, so that tells me that something maybe didn't get done. So I can actually, from this view, just click over to the bill, map it back to the intercompany transaction number. At a glance, I can already see that I have a purchase and a vendor bill, but I have a sales order and no invoice. So if I come in here, I can see somebody forgot to invoice this. So I'll go ahead and create the invoice, confirm it, and when I go back to my journal items view, you'll see that this is balancing now that we posted the appropriate intercompany entry. Another great feature that we developed is our bill distribution app. So in the case of shared expenses, it can be really cumbersome to post all of the appropriate intercompany AR and AP accounts. There needs to be an invoice created in the originating company for each company the expense is being split with, and a bill created in each company contributing to the expense. So even with the automation provided by the base code of Odoo, you would still need to manually create half of these necessary documents. So if we take the case of a 4-company split, you would have to create 3 invoices in your original company to say that those companies owe you the money for the expense that you paid. So this is to kind of just help make that process a lot easier. And of course, the bill distribution, when you do it, it's going to link it all back to that same intercompany transaction that we saw earlier. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to switch over to my Chicago company and go to my bills. Let's say we're working with a marketing company and we want to split up the expenses between both entities. You'll notice that there's a tab here called Intercompany Distribution, and here you can define what is owed by each company. Your total should always equal the full amount of the bill. So let's say that Chicago is going to pay 60%, so I'll put in $600 of the 1,000 that I entered, and San Francisco is going to do 400. So this number should always match the top. If it doesn't, you won't be able to confirm the bill. So we'll go back to our 60-40 split, make sure our bill date is set, and then now we'll go ahead and confirm our vendor bill. We'll see that same similar intercompany smart button, and when we come here, we'll see that there's a couple things created here now. So in this instance, it's going to create the invoice to show that San Francisco owes the $400 to the Chicago company that's fronting the expenses up front. It's going to use the same expense account that was on the original vendor bill, because if you're stating $1,000 worth of the expenses, but you're going to recover $400 from the other company, we want to make sure we reverse that within the same account. So I'll go ahead. These will auto-confirm, but for the purpose of the demo, I'll just manually confirm them. And then in our other company, we can see that it created a vendor bill so that the San Francisco company knows that it owes the Chicago company $400. Confirm this as well. And as we saw before, if we were to, I'm just going to click in and click back to reload the journal items. Our new intercompany transaction number 33 is down here, and you have that same ability to make sure that all your accounts, intercompany accounts payable and accounts receivables, are balancing. One thing I do want to point out before we step back to my presentation is that the expense account in the other company is reliant upon both companies sharing the same chart of accounts code. We have plans to expand that in the future, so you can set up the mapping yourself, but right now it's mapping the accounts based on the same code between the two companies. So in conclusion, the intercompany transaction tools offered by Odoo are really great for automating some of the aspects of the intercompany orders lifecycle. Our apps help improve the traceability and automate these processes even further to help your accounting team with your intercompany accounts receivable and payable. Some future improvements include filtering, more filtering options on the intercompany journal items, multi-currency support for the intercompany journal items view and bill distribution, and then more advanced options for the expense account matching in bill distribution. So that's it for my presentation. I'm also giving a talk later today in this same spot on labor costs and manufacturing if you're interested in joining. And then I'll just take any questions.
Hello, Cecily.
Hi.
It was an amazing talk.
Thank
I hope it was helpful for you guys. So we have some questions for you. The first one says, did the consolidation model of Odoo improve massively in V17 so they will allow supporting multi-company?
From what I understand of the consolidation module, it was always built to support multi-company and allow you to map accounts across companies. I'm not personally sure of the V17 improvements of the consolidation module.
Okay. The next one is, can Odoo manage intercompany transaction and automatically delete them in V17?
V17 probably has the same kind of intercompany settings. From what I understand, if you cancel something in another company, it's not going to cancel them in your main company, so you would still have to manually do that. We've actually developed an app that will do a full cancellation and connect it back to a custom RMA module that we created, but in base Odoo, I don't think that's possible.
Okay, perfect. Another one says, should all companies be in the same Odoo database to use intercompany model?
Yes, yeah, so they should all be in the same company. That's what makes it intercompany. And then it's nice because you'll save on some of the fees, keep everything in the same place, and then take full advantage of those multi-company features.
Okay, perfect. They are following by saying, what if those companies are different fiscal units, and what will make process different if those are one fiscal unit but different profits or cost centers?
Sure. So I think I understand the question. I'm going to answer it based on if you're asking if we have different currencies and if the companies have different chart of accounts. For the base Odoo flow, where we're just mapping the regular Odoo flow to our intercompany documents, all of those accounts are going to map automatically based on your product setup, so the same way that they would in the base Odoo. For the bill distribution app, as of this point, it relies on them having the same chart of accounts for the account matching, but it's something that we plan to improve in the future. And for different currencies in the bill distribution app, you can actually manage it as is right now. There's just one additional manual step that you would have to do that we plan on automating in the future. So.
Okay, perfect. Another question is, I think in demo you showed the split bill feature.
I did.
Okay, yeah. Move on to the next one. How to handle intercompany loan management?
Oh, intercompany loan management. So my recommendation is always to keep everything intercompany done with bills and invoices to make sure that all your accounts payable and accounts receivable are linked back to Odoo documents. So we would basically come up with some series of invoices and bills in both companies to manage them and maybe even work with the deferred revenue module in Odoo. But at this time, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, perfect. Another question is how to handle multi-company and multi-currency budgets and liquidity planning.
It's a very broad question. Odoo offers a lot of tools. I'd say that the consolidation module is a really good place to start. I'm not sure if the Odoo budgeting tool offers multi-currency support to be able to see both companies' budgets side by side. But that's the beauty of Odoo, is that anything possible. So if you can't figure it out with base Odoo, you can reach out to me and we can figure out a way to make it work for multi-company currencies.
Okay, perfect. Another one is cancellation propagation in intercompany orders.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit, but we do actually have something. We have an app that allows you to cancel. So if you cancel it from the originating document, it'll cancel everything as much as it can through the entire flow, but I don't think it's supported in base Odoo. So you would just have to manually cancel each document. But at the very least, with the intercompany transaction app, it would be very easy to find them. So.
Okay, seems nice. And the last question but not least, if we create product purchase order from an active company for another inactive company, so will the records will be updated as per validated receipt?
When you inactivate a company in Odoo, I don't think that you could use the multi-company features anymore, so I'm pretty sure it would just register as a regular purchase order to a company, but it's something I would have to test. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, perfect. Actually, we have another question.
Sure.
How about IC elimination?
Sure. So I've dealt with it a little bit. Most of our customers will create a separate entity in Odoo, like an elimination company, to kind of do those entries, but it's a little bit bigger than what I could answer on this talk.
Okay, perfect. And that's it. Thank you so much,
Great.
Cecily, for this talk. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us again on this talk. I will just remind you that you can you can test any business flow or like anything you want at Odoo in the booths and the setups we have there. Don't hesitate to talk to anyone there. They are going to help you. And yeah, thank you so much.